Hey guys, so today we're going to be riding the Limber Trail. It is north of Aztec off of Light Plant Road. You'll go up about 7 miles and you can see this parking lot to your left-hand side, and the trail just starts right at the parking lot. So you're going to go through these little posts, I guess is what you would call them, and kind of circle around, and then this part of the trail is actually two-way, so be cautious as you're riding out and back because there may be other riders on this trail. Limber is a blue flow trail. We're gonna ride it about 5 miles and we're gonna take it to the Wild Bill Connector, which is North Kinsey riding area. We're not actually going to go onto Wild Bill. We're going to turn and go back on Kinsey, which is also called the Road Apple Rally East Loop. In total, it's about 10 miles of a ride. It's a lot of fun. There's some good sandy areas, so you want to be careful with that. Then there's some tight turns, which is why I think that it's the blue trail and not a easy beginner trail, just because there are some areas that are a little bit not technical, just that you have to kind of watch for. So right up here to the right is your kind of first fork in the road. You want to make sure that you're hanging right. That starts the Limber Trail. That is your blue flow trail. It is one way, so make sure that you follow it the way that it needs to be ridden. Up ahead is your first cattle guard crossing. You could totally make these. They just get in my head, and since this was my first time, I just wanted to know where everything was at on the trail, so we opted to walk them.
Oh, that's real good.
Despite this being a blue flow trail, it does have a lot of hidden climb to it. You don't really notice it as you're riding and looking at the trail, but you definitely feel it. So be sure to pace yourself and go at a moderate speed that you can maintain.
Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.
I really love the beginning section of this trail because you kind of like loop back and forth on yourself and you get to see the La Plata Mountains in the background. It just makes for a really pretty view as you're riding. I think that this would be a really pretty trail to do in the fall. It might be even a little bit cooler. We started at 7 in the morning, and by the time we were finished around 9, it was pretty warm. So I would maybe even start a little bit earlier next time. I'm going to cut sections of the ride out that don't have features that need to be talked about to give you guys a warning of what it is, just because there is a lot of climbing and a lot of looping around on this section. Also, can we just shout out to my mom who had her knee replaced in February of this year and is already back mountain biking? I mean, look at her. She is like an absolute beast. Go mom. As you can see, there's going to be some tight turns, and in those turns is some sand, and so just be careful going through those. They grabbed my back tire on a few of them and tried to take me out.
You've got to get a hold of yourself.
Coming up is the second cattle guard crossing. Again, you can totally make these, but where it was my first time, I just wanted to see what the trail was like and what was coming up. These do get in my head, and I don't know why, but it takes me some time to conquer my fear, so I didn't figure my first time was the time to try to ride over these. Again, as you're watching this section right here, take note of how sandy some of this area is, like this part right here. It really does get pretty bad, and some of that follows into the berms and the curves, so just be cautious as you're riding through that. One thing I really do love about this trail is how it loops you through the trees. It just makes the ride so much fun whenever you get to be in the trees and not just in the open the whole entire time.
stopping me.
0, 1.
Up ahead is our first wash crossing. You just want to make sure that you slow down and look both ways. We do have a lot of dirt bikes and ATVs and UTVs out there that fly through, so make sure that you just stop and look and are all clear before you head out.
Oh, that's real good.
Pretty much the whole first half of Limber is climbing. And as if you haven't climbed enough, now you're gonna start an even steeper incline. So just be prepared, use those gears, find your happy place and ride through it. Up ahead is another area where it is an ATV trail, so you want to just use caution as you come up to the top of this. And when you get here, make sure you can see the kind of the split in the trail. You want to make sure that you go left here. This next section of the trail has some pretty tight little turns. Again, being my first time on it, I just kind of took it slow and I didn't know what was up ahead, so you'll see that I'm just kind of taking it easy.
Oh, that's real good.
Here I had to cut some out. I took the turn a little bit too tight and went off.
Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.
You can see in this section that not only are there some kind of tight little turns, but they're also really sandy. I'm hoping that as this trail gets ridden a little bit more, it'll get taken care of some, but that sand is really loose.
Oh, that's real good.
Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.
Right here is a pretty deep sand wash. This one got both of us, so just watch for that as you're riding. And then shortly after, you're gonna come up to another oil-filled road that you're gonna cross. Just make sure that you stay on Limber. There's pretty good signage for it, so watch for that one. Up here, you can start to see us slow down. That's because you're coming up to one of two areas where there's tree roots. I think that this one is totally passable. I just hadn't seen it yet, so I wanted to stop and check the feature out. My pedals did get stuck, so it is important to hit it the right way. The next one that's going to be coming up pretty soon is not quite as easy to get over. You'll see that right here. We definitely had to get off and walk this one. It's quite a bit of a bump up to get over it. You can see the tree has lots of pedal strikes on it from people having to do the same thing. Shortly after the tree root sections, you're going to go a little bit further on the trail, and then you're going to come to another fork in the trail. You can see it right here. Make sure you stay to the left. This is going to take you on your return loop.
Ain't nobody
Once you're on this trail, this one's actually a two-way trail. Again, you can see how it's a little bit wider. This is Kinsey North Trail. Some of the signage on that said Kinsey, and then it also had a sticker for the Road Apple East Loop. So just keep an eye out for the signs and know that this one is a two-way trail. Just a little further up and you're gonna see that we're arriving at the Wild Bill Trailhead. If you're familiar with our area at all, you know that these are some of the fun ridges to ride down. We do not take this one for our return loop back. I'm just showing you where the trailhead for this one is. You can see us start looking here at the following trail that we're gonna take. It is the Kinsey Trail. This one is meant to be ridden down, and so we're just looking at the hill climbing up. It looks pretty doable, so I think I'm gonna try it. Fun little whoop section through here, a nice flowy downhill part. The uphill part, I did not make it my first time.
To get a hold of yourself.
Once you top the hill, you're going to take Kinsey for a little ways further. Remember, this is a two-way trail, so be courteous to those that may be coming down as we're riding up it. You will be coming up to another oil-filled road that you're going to cross and continue on the trail. I will point that out in just a minute when it comes up. I love this section up here because you're at the top and you get to see all of the Flora Vista area. It's just such a pretty view.
Oh, that's real good.
If you're familiar with the Roost the Ridges race, this is the staging area where you can park at or shuttle your riders at. It has Lakeview, Wild Bill, and Seven Sisters. This is the oil-filled road that you'll take to get there. We're gonna go ahead and cross that and continue on Kinsey or the Road Apple Rally East Trail. Up ahead is where the trail stops for a little bit and actually joins the oil-filled road that you have to ride up. You'll ride up this for quite a ways until you connect to the trail again. Here you can see that we're going to be coming up to some more roads. We do not want to take this left. We want to continue straight ahead. I'm not really sure that there's a good marker for this one, so you're just going to kind of have to know your trail and where you're riding at. There is another road right here to your right. Don't take that one, continue straight ahead. At the next fork in the road, make sure you stay to the left because our trail is coming right up ahead. We're going to follow down and you can see us just go right back onto our trail, and there's good signage for that one to know that you're back on the right trail. You're going to cross another oil-filled road. Make sure you stay on the trail. Again, you can see plenty of signage to let you know. This was probably my favorite part of the whole entire trail because it was downhill and this is what I was waiting for. You got to go over some fun little rocks and you could just really get some speed on it. Lots of fun. Once you're on the return loop, there's lots of fun flow. There are still some hills to climb. This is the last big hill to climb, and it's quite a doozy. As you can see, we're granny gearing it up all the way. Once you top out here, this is the last one, and then you just have a fun downhill into the parking lot. One thing to watch for on this return trip is, I don't know if you can quite see how tall that cattle guard is in front of us. That one is more of like a box. It's a pretty straight up incline, so I did not attempt to go over it. I just lifted my bike over the fence.
Oh, that's real good.
Shortly after the cattle guard is just a lot of fun, flowy downhill. You can pretty well go fast. Right there is where the trails start to merge back in together. You can see that it's the two tracks still, but right up here is the trail crossing. This is where we took out at, so just make sure that you're looking up ahead for other riders. The parking lot is just right off to the left. You're going to see that in just a minute, and that is the end of the ride. In total, it took us about 2 hours. We could have done it a little bit faster had it not been my first time, but I really wanted to stop and make sure that I knew what was on the trail, what it was like, what was up ahead. I'm really looking forward to doing this one again. Thanks to my mom for being a great riding partner, and yeah, we'll see you guys next ride.